Hello and welcome to the Badger Politic. I'm Scott Stearns.
Yeah, good evening, Paul Sickle.
Hey, Paul. The Brewers got another victory tonight.
Yeah, I just had an extended yawn over going over the list of Democratic candidates for governor. So
Why is that?
Well, what we were going to do is check out the state of the races here.
Yeah. Well, I think it's time to take a little stock, with everything going on.
I think we'll do this in future podcasts too, off the top.
I think it makes sense, to take inventory each time. Now that we're going into mid-May,
May 14th.
We're just a few months out from the primary. It's going to come up really quick in August. Yep. So I think the repeated status check is a wise move.
Status check, U.S. House. Right now, 538 has a 45.4% for the Democrats and 39.95% for the Republicans. That's one of the closer reads in the generic poll, although that's following consistent with the trend of it being much closer in the last month than it was previously.
Yeah, I mean, well, in terms of the House, when you look at Wisconsin, I think it's looking good. I think for Randy Bryce at this point, I feel like he's got a real shot. He's a national figure at this point. I wouldn't say he's a household name, but for those people that are interested in politics and what's going on with the House this year, people know who Randy Bryce is.
So it's a nationalized election. What you just said. I would argue that the generic ballot means a lot here. So it's a much closer thing. So what are the chances that not even Randy Bryce, never mind.
Just the House in general.
The House. What are your chances of the House going to the Democrats?
I would say it's a better than 50-50 prospect. I think I'd go as far to say like 55-45. I mean, I don't think it's going to be, I wouldn't say it's like 80%, but it's definitely better.
I was saying earlier 95%.
That's a little bit
bullish.
That's a little
I'm not saying we're going to win 95% of the seats.
No. 95% the likelihood that they pass or that they get the House.
We get 218.
Yeah.
Right now we have 193.
Yeah.
I think we're still favored to win. I'd go 75%.
Okay. It's probably the truth is probably somewhere in between.
Yeah. No, I think I'm actually being conservative.
You think so?
Yeah, I think. Okay. I mean. You can say the election is so-and-so's at 52%, so-and-so's at 48%, but, going into it, you can still be reasonably sure the one with 52% is going to have 52%. But even like the last presidential election, I mean, that threw everybody off, but...
There's the wild card with this is that you have weird primaries happening, like in California, where they have this system where it's the top two candidates that get to run. So, like Darrell Issa's district, for instance, you have a lot of Democrats that are running,
and they'll split the votes,
and so there's a possibility that the top two vote getters could be Republicans.
Yeah, I don't buy that.
Well, I don't think it's not. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's certainly a fear.
It's a big worry. I think they'll get their act together. I think Democrats are strategic enough that they're not going to fuck that up like that.
It's not about the Democratic Party.
No, I think Democratic voters are strategic enough.
Okay.
I do. I think people...
It's optimistic. I'm just saying
I don't think
there's...
so. I think it's just based on past experience. Party primary voters tend to vote strategically.
You may be right. I mean, I think the Ohio race we talked about last time with Kucinich, I mean, there was a concern that Kucinich was going to be a threat, and then he got nothing.
Exactly.
I mean, he got pummeled in the primary.
That's
so
sort of a good
you might be right. I mean, we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm coming down from 95%. I thought it was pretty much done deal.
Yeah.
But now I think it's a little tighter.
Okay.
But how about the Senate?
So the Senate map is still ugly. I mean, the Democrats are defending many more seats than the Republicans. However, some of the seats they're looking to steal are seats like West Virginia, and we talked about this last week as well. That the total vote count on the Democratic side was higher in the primary than it was on the Republican side. So
in West Virginia.
So some of these guys are better candidates than they're maybe getting credit for because of the Trump vote a couple years ago.
Right.
I feel it's kind of still a victory if they were to hold the number of seats that they have today. Yeah,
we got 49, or 47 plus Bernie Sanders and Angus King. So
because they're just, the map is brutal.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
So I would put the chances of the Republicans holding the Senate at least 60%.
Yeah, I'd say the Dems have about a 10% chance. So there, I'm going to go.
You're going the opposite.
Oh, absolutely. No, I really do. I think that if you look at these, again, I'm not saying that Republicans are going to carry 90 seats.
Mm-hmm. No, it's just likelihood of
getting
the end
the
result.
Democrats to. I mean, there's a chance the Democrats could actually gain a seat and then get to 50-50, but you still have Mike Pence as your deciding vote.
Yeah.
So you still don't win the control.
No,
so
you're not. He's the deciding vote, which not only means.
I'd say your chances of that.
Well, it means if it's 50-50, it just means that
you don't win.
Well, yeah, because it means Mitch McConnell still is the majority.
So I'd say the chances of us getting even that one extra seat are probably maybe 25% at best.
Yeah,
and that's a loss still. And
however,
so I think it's a real stretch. I think it's a 10 to 15% chance that the Democrats take the chamber.
It really is. It really comes down to the getting the House, though, is a huge thing because it means that legislatively nothing's going to happen in the next few years.
Right.
They won't be able to do anything around health care. Now,
and if they can hold the Senate Republican majority to like 52 seats, like it is now, and that's a victory. Like
well, it gives some leverage to if there's anything that comes up specifically around Senate obligations, like Supreme Court justices or appointments to the cabinet. It means that anybody that bucks the party, whether it be a Rand Paul or a Ted Cruz or something like that, it means that they have to hold those people that may be risky.
Plus, it sets up the Democrats in a much better position to when the maps gets much better in 2020.
Yes.
I mean, if the Democrats, as long as they should hold say 47 seats, they could lose 2. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Their odds would be probably better than 50% to take this chamber in 2020.
Right.
Regardless of what happened in the rest of the races, the presidency or what have you.
I mean, they do have the opportunity to pick up some. They could pick up Jeff Flake's seat in Arizona. They
I
could.
think it's a long shot. But okay.
Probably. But I mean, there's an opportunity.
I mean, stranger things have happened, and if the generic
ballot if it really is a wave, people get sucked up in waves,
right? But obviously, the wave looks like it's already crested. So you're going to go with 35-40% chance the Democrats get it.
Yeah,
I'm going to go 10 to 15.
Okay,
and on the House, I'm going to go 75. I almost want to go 75-80. I think I'll just stay at 75%. Okay. I think it's a pretty good chance that Democrats take the House.
Yeah,
I think it's very unlikely that they take the Senate.
I think I'm being a little conservative on this just because of the gerrymandering, but
I think the gerrymander they can run through. I think there's enough seats.
Perhaps, but I mean, when you look at like Wisconsin, for instance, I mean,
you may not pick up any here. But they don't have to pick up any seats here to necessarily win the majority.
No, but I mean, the most likely one they would pick up would be Paul Ryan's seat.
That'd be the number one pickup.
They could potentially pick up Grothman's seat.
If they pick up Paul Ryan's seat, what are the chances that they win control of the House?
That is probably a bellwether. Then I think that the chances increase dramatically.
I'd say 99.8% chance they control the House if they win that Paul Ryan seat.
That's a little ridiculous, but yeah. Okay.
No, I really do. I think I actually would still say the chances are as much as I'd like Randy Bryce, I think our chances were better against Paul Ryan than they are against this new guy. Although this new guy is kind of a zero.
It's just if it was Paul Ryan running, he has to run on his record and everything like that. However, but it's also the fact that they would have more resources being funneled here if Paul Ryan was running, and more negative ads painting Randy Bryce as some kind of deadbeat and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, you're still going to have that, but I think it would be greater with Ryan running.
I love Randy Bryce. I give Style about a 65% chance of winning. I don't think the Democrats carry any seats in Wisconsin, except, in fact, I think there's one. I actually think that Dan Cole may have a better chance.
That's what I was going to say. Is the Grothman seat? Dan Cole, I think, has a decent shot.
Right.
If
one goes, the other goes. I think neither one go in a way without a really strong wave. But meanwhile, I think the Democrats could eke out a fairly narrow House majority.
Yeah.
Without any seats from Wisconsin.
Okay.
I think it's pretty. I'm pretty convinced of that.
Yeah.
Just looking at the
map.
Yeah.
Okay.
So going back to Wisconsin, on the weekend after the Republican convention, Wisconsin, how's the Republican Dem race for governor and control of the legislature look to you?
Well, in terms of the race for governor, so we had the only bit of news that came out today around that was Michael Crute, who is the owner of the local liberal radio station here.
Mm-hmm. He dropped out after getting in.
Yeah, I mean,
you think it's because he doesn't have enough signatures? I think he can get enough signatures. He's got a radio show.
Well, yeah, perhaps.
I think it was a stunt.
It was probably a publicity stunt, but. There's still obviously a number of candidates that are running.
And what did he say? He said all the Democrats that don't have a chance to get out.
Well, I think that makes some sense.
Right.
If you're not going to raise the money and you don't have the foundation of support, I think it's time to look yourself in the mirror and say, "Is this for me?"
And I think that's really how we have to assess the chances of the Democrats winning. I guess I would say Scott Walker. Probably is 50 to 50. I'd say 55% chance Scott Walker holds his own and stays in as governor against
50,
the field.
I think it's 50-50.
I'd say 55-60 for Walker.
60 is a bit much, but
you have to favor him unless one of these Democrats can really start making a name for themselves.
So the current field that we're looking at is we got school superintendent Tony Evers, we got Madison Mayor Paul Soglin. Andy Gronick, local businessman here in Milwaukee.
Soglin, Gronick, please drop out. They're high on my list.
Representative Dana Walks from Eau Claire.
He can stay.
Former state rep Kelda Royce of Madison. Firefighter union leader Malin Mitchell.
He can stay.
Matt Flynn, who was a state party chairman back in the day.
Yeah, he's on the bubble for me. I think he should go.
Senator Kathleen Vinehout of Alma.
She's got to go.
And then we have activist Mike McCabe.
Definitely has to go.
So
who should go next?
He's not going to, but I think Mike McCabe.
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, how does he get... We should go to the Democratic Convention, and we should actually literally interview everybody. Do you think a Democrat who won't promise to endorse the nominee against Scott Walker deserves to be on the ballot as a Democrat?
Well, that's something that his fellow challengers should be pushing him on.
He's got to go.
I mean, that should be a requirement, and when the stakes are this high, you can't play the martyr card and be like, no, I'm going to mount a third party candidacy, or at least not rule that out.
Mm.
So it's just the stakes are too high.
But I know he thinks he would actually be in a position to beat Walker or something like that.
I think actually the next one, and I know we've talked about Vinehout, but I think Soglin. I think Soglin is dropping. He has no prayer.
Yeah. I keep Vinehout in before I keep Soglin.
Well, yeah. I mean, I
mean, she's been elected in a swing district.
Sure.
She's a woman. I think that's good.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of her. So you want Soglin out?
Yeah, so I might even put him ahead of McCabe.
Getting rid of them both. Yeah. But okay. I'm not going to pick favorites on which one I don't want.
Right.
I want them both out really fast.
Yeah, I think both of them.
The rest of them can, I guess, hang out there.
Sure. I mean that's a decent primary field.
Gronick, I think, has got to teeter on the edge of credibility. I'm just so fucking tired of his stupid emails from this campaign. The ones from his dog.
I am not on that list. I don't know.
No, thank you. Be thankful. I get ones.
I'm getting emails from others, but I got
emails from Augie Gronick.
Okay,
that's their dog.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so I think he should go too. Honestly,
just for dog.
Pretty much
from the dog. That should be a disqualifier.
Pretty much. I mean, people love
the too cute. You gotta go.
I mean, that's like Mike McCabe kind of politics, as far as I'm concerned. Fuck that shit. I mean, let's talk some reality. here.
Yeah. Well, it's high time. It's not. This isn't winter anymore. We're easing into summer here now. That
so we got Calda, we got Mitchell, we got
Gronick, Evers, Wachs.
We got Wachs and Evers, Calda and Mitchell talking something real.
Yeah,
as far as I can tell.
I think
the rest of them forget about it.
It seems like there's a lot of buzz around Calda and Malin right now, based on what I'm hearing. And but I mean, Tony Evers is still, I think, kind of leading the pack because he's got the organization. He has the office. He has a statewide office.
Yeah, he's got the name recognition.
And so kind of tying into that.
Yeah, the next. We had a Republican convention this week where some interesting things were said.
Yeah, so Scott Walker made comments about how the Milwaukee public school system should be potentially broken up.
Shaken up a little.
Yeah, shaken up as he put it.
Right.
So the thing about that he's mentioned stuff like that before. Nothing's ever happened. I mean, he's controlled this state for the better part of 8 years. But this is
he's had 8 years of almost uninterrupted Republican rule. So why is it such a good idea?
Right? Why is it coming up now during campaign season? Mm-hmm. Well, and strategically, maybe he's using that as a tool to go against Evers,
who he perceives as a front runner.
Yeah, and so he may be using that to say, well, here's maybe a way I can push Evers out of the way, because if he thinks that Evers hasn't done the job as head of the Department of Public Instruction in the state, well, maybe that's a way that he can kind of get involved in the primary.
So all the Democrats, the answer to Milwaukee Public Schools problems do not begin and end with the governor. However, where the buck stops at the governor, it's make sure that the school system with the biggest needs has the most resources, has the necessary resources to make their needs. Scott Walker's been starving it and trying to dismantle it for all of his 8 years. Yeah. And now he wants to complain about what we've got.
Well, and shared revenue's gone down. Milwaukee gives more in tax dollars to the state than it gets back.
Yeah.
So that all ties in the limitations on how local communities can raise revenue and stuff. That all ties in.
And he distorts what the matches are and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly when you bring in the need element, and the need is going to be greater in a major city.
Sure.
The cost per pupil in Milwaukee is a bargain, and it deserves to be more equalized. And I guarantee you'd get better results with smaller class sizes. I guess I can't guarantee you that, but it's hard to imagine you wouldn't. It always works elsewhere, so why not here? But apparently our solution is bigger class sizes and fewer resources for the district with the greatest needs.
Yeah.
That's just poor stewardship. That alone is reason to vote out Walker. Now for him to have the gumption to say, we got to take control over it.
Yeah, we talked about it a bit before the show about these comments and kind of what he's aiming towards. And maybe it's that he's going after Evers and trying to influence the primary vote, or it could just be kind of driving turnout on his side. The people that don't know anything about Milwaukee, don't know anything about the schools, and this is just a way to get suburban voters motivated to vote against Milwaukee, that kind of thing.
I think it's a great way to get Milwaukee voters to vote for the city and vote against Milwaukee.
Right. I mean, maybe it was a boneheaded move on his part.
I hope so.
To attack.
I hope Milwaukee was listening.
The city school system. Yeah. Because it just
I don't know if we give this shit or not, but his policies don't show much promise.
It just plays into this stereotype that people that aren't from the city have about MPS, that like every school is failing, every school is just junk,
right?
And I mean, I have
as a parent.
As a parent, I mean, my kid goes to MPS. He goes to a great school with great teachers and great involved parents and everything like that. So fuck him for not appreciating.
I think you need a Republican governor come in and tell you.
Maybe I don't know.
Should be run.
Maybe
Right.
I obviously don't have a clue. So then there's other races, obviously, that they spoke to at the GOP convention this past weekend. So the Senate race between Kevin Nicholson and Leah Vukmir. So the state Republican Party actually endorsed Leah Vukmir in the Senate race.
I thought it would be hard to have Kevin Nicholson slam on veterans who don't follow a right-wing line when he said that veterans that vote Democratic need their heads examined or whatever it was.
Right.
But Vuchmer might have topped it.
Yeah.
With their latest letter calling Tammy Baldwin part of team terrorism.
Yeah, they have this meme of that, kind of licking her with Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. It's ridiculous.
Well, and everybody, all the pro-Vuchmer people in the Republican Party, which is basically the Walker people, tried to go out and say what Nicholson said was over the top. He's calling Democratic veterans insane is unfair.
Yeah.
They were trying to act like they were kind of like Big Tent a little bit.
Right.
And then they come out and say Tammy Baldwin's team terrorism.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Well, Leah Vuchmer
and good for Ron Johnson, I guess, for saying he wouldn't have said it. You know what? How about a more full-throated denouncement, Ron?
Oh.
Say, you know what? I mean, I guess he was saying it politely for Republicans to say, look, she's my colleague, I wouldn't have done that. Mm-hmm. But come on, Ron. Just say, you know what? This is nonsense. Pull that down. Don't.
He's a wimp. He's not going to do that.
I mean, Ron obviously respects Tammy as a fellow senator. He probably doesn't agree with her on much, but that's all right.
Right.
And same and vice versa. I guess asking too much from Ron Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
From Ron Johnson is probably
so.
wrong. At least he said he wouldn't have done it himself.
Yeah.
But, whatever.
But I think they
a full-throated announcement, though. You know what? If this was Obama, though, and there was some Democrat that compared his opponent to team terrorism.
Fox News would be 24/7 about.
They would demand that Obama fully denounce the person, especially if the candidate was black.
Of course they would. Yeah, no doubt.
Let's put a little heat on these guys. So it's nice, Ron, that you said you wouldn't do that. I'm glad you wouldn't. But you know what? This is way beyond the pale.
Of course.
I mean, honestly, Nicholson's comments actually are better, and those are totally offensive.
Comparatively,
and those are totally offensive. I don't know which is worse. So,
but Leah Vuchmer is just kind of a nut. I mean, she's a known anti-LGBT activist, and so that'll be interesting if she's the nominee running against Tammy Baldwin, who's the first openly gay senator.
I saw, a picture of my old neighbor at the condo over here at the convention cheering on Leah Vuchmer on the news. I just saw a clip of him. Anyway, I'm not going to mention his name, but I just thought that was interesting. Anyway.
I think the only other thing you wanted to make sure we checked on was the White House insanity check.
Dun, 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 dun. I think we might need some beatboxing for this.
Fuck Trump.
So what do we got this week on our White House insanity check? I mean, Jerusalem's on fire today. We got the embassy opening in Jerusalem, moving from Tel Aviv. We've got the comments about Senator John McCain.
Completely offensive.
Yeah, Kelly Sadler, who's a communications aide with the White House, was discounting his opinion about the nominee to
I shouldn't
lead.
Even laugh. It's just totally offensive and wrong. I mean, it's just.
Basically, they were discounting his opinion about a cabinet nominee and said, it doesn't matter because he's dying anyway. It's just completely inappropriate. And this White House just leaks like crazy.
Well, that's their problem, though.
Well, yeah, it is.
I'm glad it does.
And are you surprised that they leak like crazy? Look at the example that's being set by the president. I mean, you have everybody's kind of basically looking out for themselves. There's no loyalty to anybody. I mean, Trump doesn't have loyalty to his own people. He's constantly second-guessing them. And it's coming out all the time that, Trump now loses. It seems like every day I read an article about, Trump is now losing confidence in this cabinet nominee or this cabinet nominee. And it's like, it may or may not go anywhere. But it's like, of course there's going to be backbiting at all levels because that example is being set from the top.
I mean, Trump's number one achievement right now is that he's finally found a way to come to terms with the dictator from North Korea who basically, personality-wise, reminds me a lot of Trump.
This meeting is in June. I think they scheduled it for now.
I mean, I don't mean to minimize the import of it.
No.
On the other hand, first of all, I wonder how successful this will be in the long run, number one. Number two, and even if it is, I wonder if we couldn't have been in a stronger strategic position by taking a more measured approach.
Well, I think we'd be in a stronger strategic position if we didn't break the Iran deal.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, why would any country right now that we have not had historically good relations with?
He wants to basically ditch the Iran deal and take that same deal and make it with North Korea.
Pretty much.
A country with which we have no history of compliance.
Well, versus going back
Iran,
generations.
Where there actually is a history. Yes, there was...
More recently than North Korea.
More recently. And a real interest in joining the international community.
Yeah.
I mean, the Iran, the 80s is long over. The idea that there wasn't potential there. I mean, I guess it didn't fit Benjamin Netanyahu's policy, but since when does the U.S. have to do exactly what the right wing of Israel wants? Not what Israel wants, what the right wing of
look
Israel.
Who's writing the checks? Sheldon Adelson and
okay. So all right, there you go.
So that's our White House insanity check. So I think we're going to make that a weekly segment because it's hard to keep track of all this crazy.
Obviously, we hope things go well with North Korea. I would argue that probably any president would have us in at least as good of a strategic position. It's possible that Trump's insanity is bringing North Korea to the table because they think they could take advantage of it.
I think it has more to do with the efforts from South Korea, but yeah.
Well, I think that's most likely the fact of the matter, right? South Korea got really nervous with trigger-hungry, happy Trump, and they, got the opportunity with the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope it all turns out for the best.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, we'll have another problem with Iran.
Yeah. Well, as they continue to exert their influence in
and
Iraq,
it really does. Yeah, if the U.S.'s word doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, that's the lesson that's being told.
What does that get us?
It gets us nowhere.
Exactly. And it's just like I thought it was bad on climate change, and now this.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, with that, let's hope these generic ballot polls start improving, and people remember just what it is that we're up against here.
Let's hope.
This is still just as crazy as it was before.
It's gonna get this whole
remember
this election season is gonna ramp up really quick.
Yeah, now they're talking about putting in sanctions against European countries that continue to do business with Iran.
John Bolton had to back up Trump on that because he felt a sense of obligation.
You want to talk about insanity check?
Oh yeah.
So what again? It banned trips to the Eiffel Tower or something? I mean, come on.
It's not going to happen, but
no more Oktoberfest for you, Americans. Don't go to the. You can't go to the royal wedding.
We're gonna have travel bans to Germany.
Right, yeah. No, New Year's Eve in Vienna? Nope. No skiing in Switzerland? Nope. All right, well, Switzerland's neutral, so I guess we can you can always hide your money in Switzerland.
That's true.
Don't go to Spain, though. All right, with that.
Forward.